Well, I mean, we only find out it was Riz in season, like halfway through season two.
The murder mystery plot.
Yeah.
They kind of abandoned
But
the
they
plot
dragged
for
out
a while.
Yeah, they dragged it out in like the first one. That's like most of what it's about. Like along with Hall and Legoshi's relationship, and then you hear a little bit about it at the beginning of season two. Then they drop it, like Rain said. Then they bring it back, and that's all unfolds. But then they've completely bungled the ending.
And there's so much more manga to cover. They didn't have to do it that way. There was a bunch out.
And they completely butchered the names.
Oh, they did. They did. I'm like explaining things to them, and they're like, "Who the fuck are you talking about?"
Well, like I knew who you were talking about because, like, so the anime on Netflix, it's Legoshi, Hall, and Ryus, but apparently those are not the manga names, and that it's Legacy, Haru, and Luis.
Yeah, people will argue with me on whether or not it's Legacy, but I strongly believe it. But it's definitely Haru and Luis.
It sounds like someone in Japanese was saying the names, and like the translator just wrote them down like phonetically.
Yeah, like that.
Like
job's
without
done.
like actually checking. Yeah. That's especially like if like Japanese, like how you said the R and L.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that it's definitely what happened.
Like maybe messed up Luis, but Haru, really? Everyone looked at that and thought that was fine and correct? Hal the rabbit.
Legacy and Legacy are like that one I'll give a pass to. Because that's pretty similar. But like the other, yeah, definitely Haru and Hall are like completely different.
To be fair, if Wolf didn't say anything, I wouldn't have even questioned it. I would have been like, yeah, that's it. That's all there is to it.
Well, right, but that's the point.
That's
like
the
we should be
problem.
questioning. We can't give them this pass.
Yeah.
They gotta know they fucked up.
They did.
Anyways, welcome back to Your Ridiculous episode 25.
Whoa!
I am one of your hosts. My name is Luke, and with me, as always, I have the Italian Wolf.
Italian!
Italian! You get to be Italian. How unfortunate for you.
Oh, bibbidi bobbidi. Spaghetti.
Give me the fucking gabagoo. Yeah, I've seen Godfather. I know how they talk.
I have not.
And we have the classic other bloke that sometimes is here.
You know.
Rain, how is it going?
Hello.
Hello. Good to have you back. This week, or well, I guess last week, I should say, we talked about the Adam Project.
We did. Oh, we got 2 rainy episodes in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Blessings for you guys. Unfortunate for us, but if you haven't watched that episode, it was pretty good. We even had Ryan Reynolds on,
Yeah.
star of the Adam Project, and he kept saying, he's like, why are you calling me Ryan Reynolds? My name is Rain. Please stop. And we just kept calling him Ryan Reynolds.
He'll remember. He's got amnesia.
Yeah. He probably, like, if you asked him about it, he probably wouldn't remember, but
we bumped his head on the way to the studio.
How unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, he's fine now, though. He's fine. This week, we're going to be talking about somewhat new-ish anime.
I'll call it new.
This year.
Yeah,
new-ish. New enough. Yeah, Wolf gave it the new pass, so I'm running with it. Ranking of Kings, also called Osama Ranking.
Woo!
Yeah, and then time permitting, which is unlikely, but we'll talk. Oh no, we're not talking about that.
No,
we're not.
Didn't watch it.
Right. Time permitting, we'll talk about something else. But again, likely we won't have time for it because we have a lot to say about this episode.
Endless work.
And about Ranking of Kings. So we're not going to bog us down like we normally do. If you're familiar with our works, which you should be by now, you know that we get excited and want to talk about a lot of things and then run out of time.
Yeah.
But, as always, we will be wrapping up the episode with a question of the week from Rain.
Woo.
And with that, Wolf, so as always, introduce what we're going to be talking about.
Of course.
But then don't go into anything after that, because I have something to say first.
All right.
But Wolf, tell us what ranking. Oh, and for audience, clarity, we'll probably shorten it quite a bit to ROK, which is the 3 letters for Ranking of Kings, and it's just quicker. So ROK it is. Tell us about ROK.
Ranking of Kings is a 2-core anime released on Crunchyroll, I believe, last season, or maybe 2 seasons ago. It's an interesting looking one. It doesn't look like your typical anime. It uses a very simple animated style. It is about a young prince named Bojji who was born deaf and mute. And his place in the world. He was born from, the most powerful dude on the earth. From his father and his mother, also a giant. And the story is just about him, really. About him rising up to the ranking of king, technically.
Technically.
It doesn't come up much in the actual show, but
it's
there in the background.
Yeah. And so he goes, throughout the land looking for power and, got to stumble across a bunch of different people, right?
Gains friends. His first friend, most importantly, Kage.
Yeah, very important. So, that's Ranking of Kings. Pretty simple story, but once you get deep into it, it evolves and spreads and gets quite deep. But before we get into our own thoughts, we want to obviously talk about the OP.
Oh.
And to our surprise, Rainey and I were really big into it, but Wolf didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah, and they're texting me. They're like, this OP is shit. Why was it even considered for best OP?
It's ridiculous.
And Rain and I were just shocked because we're like, wow, we thought it was pretty good.
You're ridiculous.
Treason.
You making me look bad.
Nah, I would never.
Before my big speech.
Your partner in crime? I would never. I would never do that. The internet knows that's not something.
The internet knows, all right.
All right, well, tell us about the OP.
All right, Ranking King. It had 2 openings. First opening, it was okay. It was good. Real bouncy song. The only thing I wanted to make note of it from the first one was that it specifically calls out taking shortcuts, which isn't a issue that doesn't come up until the second core, but it is ultimately the cause of everyone's problems throughout the whole 24 episode run.
Yeah,
but go.
I just wanted to talk about, because I don't think we have that much to say about the first one.
Yeah, no.
Like you said, it's pretty simple. It's mostly just Kage and Bojji walking around a lot. Besides what it's actually saying, like within the lyrics, but that one's called "Boy" by King New, and then the next one we'll talk about. I'll just say it now for the posterity's sake. It's "Naked Hero" by Vondi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Rain, did you have much thoughts about the first one before we really dive into the second one?
I actually enjoyed the first one. I thought it was interesting because it wasn't expected. I think while I was texting you, I was saying, oh, I like the OP. And then it turned into like a banger real fast. Like there was like a switch of energy in the halfway through it. And I liked that. But I mean, after watching
that's the second OP.
That was the first one I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's split into 2 cores, which is basically the structure of anime for 12 episodes normally. This one was a double core. And so the first 12 episodes are, the first opening, which is called Boy, and then the second one is Naked Hero. That one's significantly better.
Oh, I understand now. Yeah.
Not that the first one's bad. Yeah, not that the first one's bad at all. Like, I like the first one. We like the first one. But the second one has way more going on.
Indeed. In the first one, I did like how everyone with trusting was, like, walking behind him.
That was cool. I like that. They randomly have one of the politicians walking behind him too. That shows up like in the very beginning or one of the season 1 sections, and then again at the very end. And they were like hiding the entire time.
Like, where the fuck were you?
Why the fuck are you behind Bojji? Go away.
You weren't there for him.
Yeah. Anyways, Wolf, I won't hold you back anymore.
All right.
You can continue.
All right. So for my, I guess, analysis of the opening, I just wrote out one big long paragraph so it was all coherent. but feel free to stop me if you want to jump in at anything I have to say.
Oh, absolutely.
So, starting from the beginning, overall, the lyrics sync up amazingly with the visual, so I'm not going to point out every time it happens. Also, an amazing performance by the singer, Bindu, you said, right?
It's like Vaundy, Vaundy.
Yeah. The deep breath he takes at the start of the OP hits different, and it's not in the full version of the song. Which is a shame.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's under 2 minutes.
Then of course it opens with Bojji and Kage meeting in the darkness, but by the end they're shining bright at both literally in the story and in the OP. The first line, shake off the power that comes from malice. The bloom of the flowers in sync with the word power, and showing the one moment where Boss's power were used for love instead of malice when he crushed the club into a diamond for Bojji's mother, whose name evades me.
Is it actually the mother?
The birth mother.
Sheena?
Sheena. Then moving on from there, we have Let Yourself Be, as Bojji is marching off from a dark village into the forest, which funnily can also be translated as Leave It to Me, as he's starting his adventure.
He does march a lot.
Big marcher.
Oh, yeah. In fact, that's what he's mostly doing in the first OP.
Yeah.
That's true. He must have cows for days. From there, Bojji sees the broken mirror on the outskirts of the forest, and he looks into it, sees his reflection, and because of course Bojji and Manjo are basically foils of each other, both people who went through hardship and then came out the other end very differently. Then in the start of the chorus, Everything I Fall in Love With, it shows Boss, Manjaro, and the demon, which is lovely to me. You've got Boss loving Manjaro, Manjaro loving Boss, and the demon potentially loving Manjaro. It was very briefly touched on, but it almost seems like Manjaro accidentally made a promise to the demon, potentially as something along the lines of never leaving or always being the demon's friend, but breaking that promise by dying twice. Because when Manjaro dies after killing Sheena, the demon says it's the second time Manjaro's broken her promise. And the thing that hurt most...
That scene in particular, not to interrupt, but that scene is like 3 seconds, maybe 4 seconds of the OP where it's like opening the hands each time with different people in the foreground and different people in the background.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really, really cool looking.
Yeah.
There's like the difference in color and everything. It was really cool.
And them running away, running through the forest is also very beautifully animated. The whole thing was that one felt like specific, particularly. Like,
yeah, it's all good, but that
smooth.
Yeah, those ones in particular. Anyways, continue.
And the thing that hurts most about the Everything I Fall in Love With line is that in Japanese, the way it's said, aishite shimatta, it implies a level of regret for falling in love.
Mm.
Oh, that's really sad.
It's so tragic.
Struck my heart every time.
This whole show is... Anyway, we'll get to that. But yeah, continue. That is pretty rough.
For the next part, this is actually the part that caught my attention the most. Wild thing about Japanese is that the same phrase can mean a bunch of different things depending on the context. For example, aishite shimatta can also mean you finished loving someone, but on the context, pretty sure it's the regret thing. Visually, this part shows Bojji getting drenched in his mother's blood as it pours out of her, and it then transitions to Okin, kneeling or whatever. The line is officially translated as, "In the curse that fell upon me too," which is appropriate wording in reference to Okin, who is shown more prominently in that cut. But those verses can also be translated as, "And even when I wanted to throw it all away, the thoughts of everything I love were all I could think of," or, "Don't let yourself give up, think of everything you love." And I think the former fits best, because it encapsulates both the scene with Bojji and the transition from Okin to King Desha, and the scene where the demon, as a child, covers Manjaro's eyes and then transitions to both of them as adults. King Desha, by the way, has the word love synced up to the lightning strike that shows both his father's shadow looming over him as well as the single teardrop dripping from his eye. Also, Kage's in that cut as well, synced with the other love part of the line. Or the thoughts of love part.
Oh, I didn't even see the tear. I'm like watching it as you describe it.
Yeah.
And I only saw the tear just now.
Sneaky.
Yeah, that's cool.
Then we have the "he doesn't need power" being the other repeated line aside from aishite shimatta. And it's true, the heroes didn't need power. Manjiro's quest for power only hurt her, and the thing that allowed Bojji to save everyone wasn't his power, but his, compassion. Even Boss was ultimately unfulfilled by his quest for power, and was instead his most happiest settling down with family. First with Manjiro, and then with Bojji and Sheena. For the second repeat of the chorus, it includes the part that I thought might have foreshadowed Despa's death, with him appearing in red and blue behind Bojji, almost like a spirit guiding him through good and bad. It's kind of almost shorthand for a dead mentor type thing. Then the camera swooped up the mountainside, going from darkness to light as what appears to be the hands of Bojji's mother, Sheena, uncovering Bojji's eyes to reveal the beauty of the world as it transitions through multiple different landscapes, like the beach, the mountains, the snowy landside. And most interestingly, after episode 22, the demon is included in those beautiful things of the world, as well as the saving of Manjiro from the mirror, right before her mask she wore as a child breaks. And then at the very end, you have Kage and Bojji coming together, and the last line, the shadows are closing in asking, "What are you?" Amazing opening. I cannot believe this was not Anime of the Year, and it had to be on some technicality that it technically came after the awards or something.
Do you remember which one actually won? We went over it in our previous episode, the Crunchyroll Awards.
Attack on Titans won.
Oh, yeah. That one was good. Visually, I mean, I talked about it before, but for someone that doesn't, actually understand or speak Japanese, visually, that one was really good.
It was. But
the meaning of everything that you just spilled out right here makes me appreciate this one even more.
Yeah.
It's funny to me that they went incredibly hard on this one and less so on the first one.
I bet they weren't thinking very highly of it, and then suddenly it hit, and they were like, "We gotta step it up a notch."
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because for Beastars, the very first episode, I think, is a lot like Tim Burton's claymation. It's not actually claymation, but it's all crafted.
Stop motion.
It's all
dolls.
Yeah. It's stop motion and handcrafted. Hall is actually made out of wool or some sort of fabric and stuff, and everything like that. And I thought that OP was really, really cool, but then they switched it 30 times.
Did they?
Well, they switched it maybe one or two more times. And then they went into something different on season 2, and I didn't like any of the OPs besides the very first episode. I thought that one was so cool.
Yeah, that one hits.
But yeah, anyways, yeah, I like this one. It was good. I actually watched it a few times.
God forgive me.
Unlike most of them. So I actually watched this anime before both of you.
Yeah.
Indeed. You started this.
Wolf, it was on their list, and I had seen a lot about it on Twitter through people that I follow. And so I'm just I need something new to watch. I'll go ahead and watch it. And then the funny thing is I finished it pretty quickly. And I'm like, okay, I definitely want to do a podcast episode about this show. You guys need to watch it. And both times in separate chats, Wolf and Rain are just sending 200 plus messages every fucking episode. It was so funny. And every third episode, Wolf's I have more things to say about the OP. You were commenting on it so much, and I'm like, oh well, good, because I like the analyses for someone that I think a lot of people, myself included, miss a lot of the subtleties of that.
Yeah, it was the more I learned about the characters, the more there was to the OP.
Yeah, and so it your appreciation of it evolved a lot, which I thought was really cool. I have something to say, but we can do that towards the end. It's just something I noticed. So overall, what did everyone think of the show?
I loved it. Oh my gosh. It was very emotional. I was trying to explain it to my friends. It was very, very emotional. But it wasn't draining. It didn't bring me down like Attack on Titan.
It wasn't Attack on Titan. Yeah. It wasn't sad. Emotional like Attack on Titan. That one's depressing emotional. Depressing emotional. This one is like emotional in a very sentimental and heartfelt way.
Yeah, it was very uplifting.
And you like really care for the characters in a loving sort of way, I feel like.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Rain? Did you like it?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good watch. You're going to hate me when I say this, but I had no emotional connection to any of the characters in the show at
You're
all.
a goddamn animal.
What?
What?
Serious. Like,
How?
I thought, so I get connected. I feel like I get really attached to characters really easily when I'm watching things. So I cry a lot. Demon Slayer, literally 5 minutes in, I was crying. But I didn't cry once watching
How did you cry at Demon Slayer, not this?
You're ridiculous. That made me more upset.
Demon Slayer is the most mid show ever.
I'm
Oh no,
sorry.
his family died. The start of the fucking synopsis happened.
It's
and I'm
so
doomed.
uplifted.
I don't know what to tell you. I just had no...
Demon Slayer is uplifted so much by its beautiful animation.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw Bojji almost die, I was like, there it is. That's it.
You're ridiculous.
I literally have text that would prove otherwise.
It's not even
You're
about
bullshit.
the characters dying that brings out the emotion. It's people. It's people's what do you call it? The various characters like sheer excitement and
Is this a bit? Are you trolling me?
for when they like learn enough sign language to be able to communicate
Am
with
I-
Bojji. That fucking
Am I getting
hit.
punked?
That's
The
sad.
very-
Am I getting punked?
I'm gonna lose my damn mind. You're not allowed to speak ever again.
Tragic.
Oh my god. You're ridiculous.
If you guys could see Wolf's face, I really
Is Ashton
hit
Kutcher
a button
getting
on this
punked?
one.
You think the only sad thing out there is death?
I
And I'm
can't
gonna
sit
beat
still.
you to death for it.
I'm actually frustrated.
Good.
I don't understand.
I don't understand, man.
So I don't get emotional very much in shows, or movies, or
yeah.
in general. Like I'm a pretty composed person, and this one I was emotional like almost every episode. There was like a couple that I actually had tears in my eyes, but most of them I was just like, oh, I would do anything for Bojji. Like I would actually, like
I
I
wish
was
Bojji
so,
wouldn't cry
like-
as much.
I'm gonna beat you to death. I'm gonna fly to fucking New Hampshire and beat you to death. He doesn't even cry that much.
Are you kidding me? He
doesn't.
cries every episode.
No, he doesn't.
Yes.
he gets teary-eyed. But okay, if you couldn't lift a rock, I'm pretty sure you would. It was more tears of frustration.
Detrimental.
Yeah, he's not like
I'm
sobbing
not
every
saying
episode.
it
He's
wasn't
like doing
heartfelt
things.
at all. I'm just saying
He wants to do and he can't.
I just wasn't distraught in any way for the character. I felt bad.
Well,
very
audience,
sad.
you can say goodbye to Rain.
She's never coming
This will
on
be her
ever
last.
again.
Yeah, she's not on anymore. This will be her last performance. Appreciate
That's fair.
it.
At least I'm honest.
Honestly, bad.
I'm gonna post her home phone number, and you can just call her whenever you want and tell her how wrong she is. This show was fantastic. Okay, I can't believe that this is your opinion based off the text you were sending me.
Well, okay, so have you ever been lying in bed and a friend sends you something funny and it makes you breathe out your nose, and then you send the laughing emoji with crying eyes, even though you're not actually laughing and crying? That's kind of how I felt.
Obviously.
That's kind of how I felt.
Okay, but the difference is I didn't send you anything. You texted me this on your own accord.
I did, because at the time I was surprised. I wanted Bojji to do well, and I was distraught in a way when they were down, but I wasn't in any way emotionally
your texts are all
moved.
genuine. Right, your texts are all genuine. You want him to succeed.
Absolutely.
For the story's sake, but you just didn't have any actual emotional connection.
Yes, and I'm not saying that I enjoyed not having a connection. I'm very mad that I didn't get to experience the emotional depth that you guys did. I really wish I did. It just didn't connect for me. I don't know why.
Yeah, I wonder why you didn't, and I wonder why I did. Because again, I
Yeah.
don't normally at all get emotional. So it was weird. And then Wolf's the only normal one.
Maybe a little too emotional.
Yeah. I mean, you're actually, I think, Wolf, your texts were even more like aggressive than Rain's were.
Every reaction I might have had went right to there.
Oh yeah, it was gas. I loved it. It was so funny. Yeah. Okay, so that's fine. You know, I can understand where you're coming from a bit more now. It sounded like you just didn't care.
No, God, no. I
like,
did
care.
I did care. It's just there was just no connection.
That's fine. Yeah. No, I completely understand because again, that's how I normally feel too. That's fine. So again, I normally we do it towards the end, but I think it's interesting to talk about now. Wolf, what was your rank or like rating of it?
I think I'd give it like a solid like 9 or 10 out of 10. I really like complex but not convoluted stories. Every character had like they were gray. There was no black and white bullfuckery. Everyone did bad things and did good things, or did bad things to achieve good things.
Yeah. Fair enough. Rain, what are you giving it?
I would probably give it like a 6.5 or 7. I know.
Wow, okay.
Oh, I know.
No, it's. I mean, listen.
Yeah.
You can give whatever rating you want because we all know that I've definitely been critical of things that everybody else has enjoyed before. So, I give it. I gotta think. Okay, this might shock some viewers and my host here, but it's a 10.
Wow!
It's close to a 9 or 9.5 because I don't think I'll be rewatching it until the next season comes out. Which rewatchability is normally a thing I really put into high standards in terms of ranking. However, it was exceptional. I agree with literally everything Wolf said about their own ranking. I enjoyed it. It also gave me something new, which we've already talked about, but the emotional connection, something I don't normally get. And I thought that has to give it a couple extra points.
Yeah.
You know, for making me. Yeah, so I loved it. Definitely would recommend it. Definitely one of the best anime that I've seen, but that list is pretty short. So.
I recommend, and I've seen hundreds of anime.
And yeah, Wolf is the, anime king over here, so.
I know what it looks like. Get over yourself. It's amazing.
So talking about that a little bit, we kind of, I definitely agree that the animations, a lot of them, or the base part of it, is pretty simple, but the fight scenes and just there's a lot of the lighting, which is something I've commented on before about video games and anything cinematic is really good.
Yeah.
Nothing is completely over the top ridiculous in terms of fight scenes, which is funny because a lot of fight scenes in anime and cartoon shows are completely dumb.
Yeah.
And just are terrible. But this one, I thought these were really good.
Yeah, the stakes were rarely ever very high, but I think that was fine. They didn't need to be a world-ending stakes. The story made it matter. They made these little things matter.
Yeah, the stakes were mostly about the characters' own lives.
Yeah.
And not about, like you said, world-ending or something completely supernatural trying to take over and dominate everybody or whatever,
Yeah.
It was just a classic. It felt actually a lot like the stakes in Game of Thrones, right? I got a lot of Game of Thrones vibes about just the characters and kind of what is going on throughout the story. And that overall doesn't have super high stakes besides, especially in the beginning. It obviously ramps up towards the end, but if you're familiar with that, I got a lot of Game of Thrones vibes in a good way. I got like season 1 through 4 Game of Thrones vibes, not like
There you
season
go.
7 and 8.
There it is.
Yeah. I really, really liked it. I guess another interesting point is I thought it dealt with excuse me. I thought it dealt with representing disability really, really excellently, and the challenges and adversities that Bojji has to go through. And they didn't make him like from a zero to a hero, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had things,
Like-
he had his own thing going for him, even if no one else appreciated it.
Right. And I think that's, and Kage saw it. Like, Kage saw what Bojji's capable of. And a few other people saw, like, Domas and Hokora saw, like, some potential within him, but never really took that step like Kage did. And so I thought that was really excellent, like a friendship based on legitimacy and not like completely just an anime friendship, if you're familiar with how they normally go, or even just like any sort of, you know, story friendship. They're kind of really dumb sometimes.
Yeah.
But anyways, I thought they only built off of what he already had going for him, like you said. They didn't like completely give him just like, you know, he didn't get random strength out of nowhere. They didn't say he has 0 strength and then did one thing and now he has his father's strength, right?
Yeah. I like that he didn't get his strength back after his father died.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I thought it was great. Because again, we've talked about something like that before, but in Adam Project about the father, you know, not dying. But if he had gotten his strength, it would have made his whole character arc like useless.
Yeah, when he learned this cool fencing technique he's got all this strength now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it shows his training with Mitsumata the snake about how, you know, he can like detect like the flowing of air on people and everything, and like his heightened sensibilities, even though he has his own adversity to overcome and everything. And so I thought that was really well done. It didn't like shove it in your face. It obviously reminded you that he has his own handicaps to go through, but it did it really well.
Yeah.
And something I really enjoyed watching. And especially as someone who like struggles with their own like hearing and stuff like that, and having like really poor hearing ability or whatever you want to call it, I like, that's something I connected with, which is probably part of why I liked the show so much. You know, so I thought that was really great. I just liked it.
I've got so many thoughts, I don't even know where to start, but I'm going to start with Hilling. Queen Hilling. I really liked the reverse they did on her. Like, you see her, she seems like the bitch stepmother that doesn't like the original son and all that. But then as it keeps going and going, it's real like, Hilling, she's a real one. She like jumps out a window to go try and save Bojji. She's that committed. And you've heard them the whole time said she loves Bojji like he's his own damn son.
Even learned sign language for him.
Yeah, they make you think she doesn't know it. That's why she has to use the interpreter.
Yeah, it definitely, like, you both sent me texts. It's like, I fucking hate this gun. And then it's just like later on, like 2 episodes later, it's like, okay, Queen Healing is Healing is kind of an OG.
She slaps.
We definitely like her. I liked her. It wasn't really a character arc, but how they revealed her true character.
Yeah.
Like, it was great. I liked it.
Yeah, I liked how in the flashbacks, like, she didn't become, like, bitter, even though, like, Bojji kept basically, like, rejecting her as a mother. She was an adult about it, unlike most adults in these kind of fairy tales. She's like, this is a child, lost his mother, very traumatically at that. I'll just keep trying.
And finally did it by healing Mitsumata.
Yeah. After kicking the shit out of him.
After absolutely destroying him. Literally, I'm pretty sure killed him.
Yeah.
He was already wounded, bit Bojji, and then she kicked the shit out of him. Which I think I don't even think we can like, be mad about, because that's an appropriate response.
Yeah. Why'd you bite him, jerk?
Our dear boy Bojji, wants everybody to be alive and well.
Yeah.
Queen Healing heals him. Was she your favorite character?
Not my favorite, but I do love how she was different than how most stories would have done her.
Yeah, it was really good. Did you have a favorite character?
Probably Kage. I was always most concerned about him.
Okay, not counting Kage or Bojji, like supporting character. Because I think it's fair, like I obviously would pick Bojji if this was the case,
right.
He did supporting character. Yeah, he did. That's something to note. I would like to amend my statement from the Crunchyroll Awards. Bojji is not some cuck that I made him out to be.
Roasted him
in our Crunchyroll Award episode. He deserves best boy. He's the best boy in our heart and my heart and forever.
I really liked the trio of Despa, Desha, and Oken. I liked their side story. And I also liked Genga, I think was his name. The Steel Ogre. Gigan, yeah.
Gigan, yeah. Yeah, I like the trio too. That was really cool. I like that you don't. It progressively reveals that there are more and more brothers.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really funny. And I don't know if I did like it, but I thought it was like, there's a fucking another one? It's just like, what the fuck? Because King Desha pretends at first to be Despa.
Yeah.
When they first meet him in the underground, and he's like, nah, bitch, get out of my castle.
Yup.
And then we go see Despa, the real one. And then later, like, almost in Core 2, we kind of find out that Prince Oken is the third brother.
And then he's, like, been there in the flashbacks the whole time!
Oh, yeah. Like, we find out that this handsome mustache man is this cursed fucking soulless demon. Not really a demon in this world, but still.
We're all fucked over by life.
Oh, yeah. Well, because, like, they go through it with Desha looks like his father, acts like his father, and has the magic abilities.
Yeah.
Despa looks nothing like actually is a very attractive dude in the world.
Yeah.
Has little magic power. And then Prince Oken is arguably the most good looking one, but has no magical ability until he turns 25. And then gets fucking immortality.
Got cursed with immortality for his 25th birthday.
Yeah.
What did you think of this show's take on immortality, by the way? Because for those that aren't familiar with it, it's pretty standard for, immortality. You can't die. If this guy gets beat, like limbs cut off, head cut off, if his sword breaks at all, bits of like shadowy sewage flesh leak out of him.
I think that's his blood.
And right, it's like blood-like. I prefer shadowy sewage flesh.
Yeah. Sewage flesh.
Accurate.
His bloody sewage leaks out of him, and like reattaches the limbs, like no matter what, essentially, including his own sword.
Do you remember if it was his 24th or his 25th birthday that the change happened? Okay, I was gonna say it would be funny if it was 24th, because in Japan, your 24th birthday is like real important. I don't remember why, but it's like worth celebrating. I'm
pretty sure it's 25, but it may be pointing that out. It could have been 24.
But
I'm not exactly sure. I didn't finish.
Oh, there's more.
Sorry. It's just like, yeah, he reattaches himself. But there's a bit more that immortality, to be anything living in this world, you have to have a soul. And they say that immortality basically removes your soul and you slowly become less of who you once were. And you it's a form of like insanity almost.
Yeah.
And so by the end of the show, Prince Oken is basically just kind of this mindless thrall who listens to Miranjo because he has no willpower of his own. And so that's kind of how they deal with it, which I think is a new take. So I'm interested to hear what you thought of, either of you.
Definitely, like, the worst form of immortality ever. Like, you don't get to enjoy it whatsoever, like, learning stuff, doing things. It just immediately drives you insane. And I think it's interesting because I don't even think the father was immortal long enough to get it that bad.
I just swallowed my drink wrong. I think the father and Desha were looking for ways to achieve immortality. I think that's what it was, if I remember. Excuse me. I'm going to cut that. They were looking for ways to achieve immortality, and then suddenly Oaken was cursed with it when he turned 25.
I see. Oh, so the father was just an asshole.
Yeah.
Didn't even have the corruption going for him.
Yeah, it was just kind of a cuck.
I was like, when boss finally faces Oaken and obliterates him, I was just like, damn, I'd have just gone back to jail. He's just beating him into soup.
Into literally soup. Yep. Literal sewage.
Yeah.
Rain, did you have any particular thoughts about immortality in this?
I appreciated the take on, they focused on not what you gain from immortality, but they focused on what you lose from immortality. And then Despa was talking about the reason that makes people have humanity is that they are going to die, so they appreciate their life more, so they want to love during life, and they want to give and do good things. And he said as soon as you take death away, you no longer appreciate the life that you have, and that's kind of slowly what made Oaken lose his humanity and become just the heartless thing that just walks around and basically kills, because he has no sense of humanity. He doesn't understand or appreciate the life around him anymore because there is no sense of death. Therefore, why appreciate the life you have? It just is what it is. I thought that was a really cool take.
Yeah.
It's interesting that it's not even that he's just going around killing. He's going around making other things suffer.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
Like his fighting style is
to bleed
missing vital organs so he can sit there and watch you bleed out.
Mm-hmm. And enjoy it.
Yeah. Really enjoy it.
Yeah, he's a freak about it.
There's
like a scene towards the end where it's just like all the big four and Kage and Bojji and the captain just like all slumped like in front of Oaken, and Oaken just standing there.
He takes a seat, looks around.
Yeah, he's like sits on the steps. He's like, look at what I've done.
He
the
does
fruits
the
of
laugh,
my labor paying off.
the like gargling laugh that he has.
Oh
for
yeah,
enjoyment.
it's like this like breathy, gargly laugh. Yeah,
his throat is just gone. Apparently, that wasn't immortal. He sounds like he's been gargling rocks for the last year.
It probably has been. He's been in a jail cell for half his life or whatever. I don't know how long it's been, but there's one scene where Queen Healing's getting attacked and she's trying to run away from everything. Prince Oaken attacks her, and she uses this other sort of magic that she has. She called it a holy light.
Oh yeah.
And she said it was supposed to just be a flashing or like a blinding attack, but it like caused physical damage on.
It was a really funny scene.
And so I'm really interested in that.
And he's like running, he runs away like sobbing.
Yeah, he's like. It was really funny and really weird, but we didn't really get any sort of answer to that.
Yeah, interesting, probably for later, because I know they have been using lightning as the thing to stop him. Like, that's the way.
Yeah.
But he slowly becomes wise against that.
Yeah.
Also, where did his lust for blood come from? For drinking blood. They showed it a couple times where he's feasting on rats when we first introduced, like, and then he attacks the snake to drink the blood.
That's true.
Was that just part of his character to make him more sus?
There's definitely got to be a reason.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It could also be related to the way that he goes around making things suffer. Maybe he's looking for life, trying to suck life out of other things because he doesn't have any.
Like if he needs to take blood.
Yeah, it could be a number of
I
things.
have no idea.
But they don't really explain why. There's a lot that I'm excited for season 2. Indeed. Or the potential of season 2.
Hey, better.
They haven't fully announced season 2, but I guarantee, I would bet money that there is going to be one, because they set it up so well for season 2.
Yeah.
Right now, at the time of recording, the finale just ended like last week of season 1, and that was around 155. What are like installments? What are they called? Like chapters?
Oh, chapters, yeah.
Chapters, yeah. 155 chapters. And they're current, so that was season 1, 155. And they're currently on right around like 196. So that's obviously not even close to enough for a next season.
Yeah.
But, we'll see what happens. Next couple of years probably. I'm sure we'll get something, right?
Indeed. I know we're running long, but I got 2 more things at least I want to touch on.
Oh yeah, hit it.
First one being the fight of Bojji against Boss. I really enjoyed how they did it against, like, Boss's giant form. I guess like a metaphor type thing.
It was like his aura.
Yeah, his aura.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was really cool. Everyone's like, oh, Bojji's fucked. Bojji was just fine! Too huge, too fast!
Bojji was just warming up!
Bojji's like whole thing is he like takes the strength and uses it against you, right?
Yeah.
And so, if nothing else, Boss is literally strength. Like he's
his own
just
ass.
Yeah, he's all strength, and so if you counter it, his Bojji's like the perfect counter against Boss.
Exactly.
I like that scene too. It was very cool. It was very satisfying. But however, I actually liked the scene right before that, where it's the big 4. If you didn't know, it's Bebin, Domas, Apes, and Dorsch. Those are the big 4. They're like they were King Bo's advisors basically. And so King Bos in Daida's body is like challenging anybody to fight him. If you stand with me, you'll be fine. If you oppose me, I will kill you right on the spot. And they're all like, no, we stand for Bojji now. You're dead. Go the fuck away. We serve the crown. You gave it up. As per dying. You know?
Yeah.
And they all stood for Bojji. And Despa's saying this whole time is like, guys, you will literally die.
Yeah.
And healing has no healing left. She will just die. And they're just like standing in support of Bojji. And Bojji's like, no, this is my shit. It's time to finish it.
Yeah.
No one else is dying. Fuck up my dad. Yeah, nobody else is dying for me. Which is why it just like continues to support Bojji's character, because that's why he fought Prince Oaken too. Even though that's an impossible fight, he can't win that.
Yeah.
But it just like reaffirms that Bojji's like, no, if I can defend anybody, I'll do it to the end. And so I thought that was a really redeeming scene for not only Bojji, but for the big 4 as well. Because for a while, you're not really sure entirely where some of them stand. You're kind of questioning it. They like kind of like everybody and want to support everybody, but at the end of the day, you got to pick some aside. And so, what's your second one that you want to talk about?
Second one is about Manjaro. At the end of each episode, I have a tendency to like scroll through the comments, see what people are saying. What are you guys' thoughts on how Manjaro was effectively forgiven / redeemed at the end?
It was very easy.
I don't know.
I feel like it was a little easier than I anticipated, seeing what she had done. Like, I understand having a tragic backstory. It was awful what happened to her. Absolutely awful. But I don't think it necessarily forgives her for her behavior and actions in the present. So I'm not sure. Yes. Yeah.
Lucas?
Yeah, that was one of the kind of the things I didn't really like. I thought the reasoning behind it, and yeah, she's a tragic backstory, but doesn't really give you the right or give her the right to do what she did.
Uh-huh.
Especially when it was mostly out of selfish means. But I don't know. I mean, she was repenting quite a bit towards the end. I don't think it completely forgives her. She gets a free pass or whatever, but I can kind of understand where some of them were coming from. Why? What are you?
Oh, I have so many thoughts on that. I've had thoughts on Manjiro since I saw the second opening. Because I saw her with that damn demon. I know exactly what happened. Or, I know enough of what happened. But, a lot of the comments had the same kind of thoughts. That maybe she didn't earn that redemption through her trauma. But, as I was watching it, she did have that horrible traumatic thing happen. They cut off her hands and cut off her face. But when you really think about it, the things she did were not all related to that. The things she did were because it was all she knew. It's what Boss did to her. He came storming back to the town and discovered that she had been mutilated and beaten and everything. He then kills everyone in that town, and then has her brought back to life, kind of against her will. And using the parts of the people that he had horrifically wronged. And then, he brings her out on this adventure. She then tries to kill herself because she doesn't want to be alive. And he stops her. So then, fast forward to the future, all she's done is what Boss did for her. There was no malice in her intent. It's almost like she couldn't have done anything different because that's all she knew. Well, it's horrible what she did. She killed Bojji's mom. She stepped on a lot of people, as she said. But at the same time, there was no other path carved out for her, almost.
But do you think just because that she doesn't know any different, that it doesn't mean that it's wrong, or that she should not be punished for what she did?
It was wrong, but I'm kind of on the fence on whether she should be punished for it. Because she didn't have a choice in the matter.
I mean, she is an adult.
She is an adult now, but she started her horrific things as a child. Effectively.
Right. But, I think there's some amount of, you have to hold her to some amount of actions because, she's maturing, she's growing, she's learning. Yeah, maybe as a kid, some of it was pretty rough. Mm-hmm. But what did she do as a kid exactly where it all started? Because I think one of the first things was bringing up the army to kill the mom.
Early on, one of the first things she did was getting the demon to make the deal with Boss that would take the son's strength. It was implied she kind of effectively lined people up to die to Boss, to
Yeah. And so at that point, I think actually she's a teenager, probably right around there, right? It's never really stated the actual age of really any of the characters, so it's hard to tell. But I think we can assume that she's a teen, late teens or maybe mid-teens or around there. She looks fairly young, and I would hold her to some pretty high standards at around that age for not doing that exact thing.
But how can you? In our situation, we learn, we grow because we experience the things that would allow us to grow. Boss didn't allow her to experience things that would allow her to grow and realize these things are wrong.
Right, but it doesn't excuse that they were in fact wrong.
They are wrong, but you can't hit her with a huge punishment for something that she couldn't not have done.
Correct, but she didn't get hit with any punishment.
That's fair. She should be hit with some kind of punishment.
I'm not saying completely just kill her, throw her in the gun for the rest of her life, because I understand what you're saying, and that's somewhat fair, somewhat valid, I think. But literally died as free pass, immunity. She's good. She gets the card.
She's good. Yeah, that's also him being a child. I don't know. I know we don't know their ages, but he's definitely some level of child.
I mean, if you want, I can give you an approximation of their age.
You said he was like 10 to 12? Or 12 to
No,
something?
no. So the general consensus is that Bojji is somewhere between like 14 to 16 and a half.
Uh-huh.
So even though he doesn't look at, watch the show for why. Daida is somewhere between right before that. So like 12 to 14. Somewhere right around there.
Yeah, definitely the talk of a 14-year-old child. That he's clearly been into this mirror from the beginning.
Right.
So he's
but
letting shit slide. But I also think, what's his face? One of them speaks to her. Despa. Despa is like, since we're not gonna, like, physically punish you, you need to, like, dedicate the rest of your life being an example.
And that's great. Like, yeah, it should basically give her, like, probation, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're, go out and do good deeds, and at the end of your life, you can look back on all the things that you made up for. That's great. But I don't think that atones for everything, and it absolutely does not excuse Daida for giving her a free pass, because he absolutely knows that it was wrong and that she's wrong. And, like, everything. Like, he understands, He has the background to understand.
Started a war to kill Sheena so he can knock some other bitch up.
Yeah.
I have a question, and I want to hear your guys' what you guys say. So, at the very end, the demon is able to grant a wish. Who do you think is more worthy to be saved if you could have chosen? Would you say Oaken or Lady Miranjo? Who's more worthy to be saved?
Are those the only two options?
Yes, because at the very end, those were the two that were presented.
Right.
Despa wanted to save
Yeah.
Oaken.
That's fine.
So which one would you have saved?
I probably would have saved Oaken. I mean, mostly because, like, I just think he had something taken away from him. I guess my rationality is pretty similar for Miranjo. I don't know. I just feel more sympathy for Oaken because I think he's doing even less consciously all the bad things. And he is stuck like that forever if they don't fix it. I guess you could say Miranjo's stuck in the demon and her soul is basically in purgatory. But a lot of that was by her own decisions, even if she didn't know it was exactly wrong. She still made those decisions. Gotta live with them. It's kind of how I feel it.
I mean, I don't think Miranjo ended up in hell because of any actions, or any of the heinous actions.
She just ended up in hell because she's a cunt.
Well, no. She ended up...
That'll be me.
She ended up in hell because she broke a promise to the demon.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's her action. She did that.
I know. Well, because what it seems like is that it's not like she chose to die. I mean, because we don't know. We don't know.
She knew the consequences of breaking the demon's promise
as a child.
She still did it twice as a child. Breaking a promise.
She didn't make a new promise. She made one promise.
She's gonna break a pinky swear as a child. No way.
She didn't know they were gonna cut her fucking hands off.
No, that's not what I mean though. Like, that's all after she breaks the demon's or that's before she makes the promise with the demon.
No, she makes the promise with the demon as a child, because the demon's also a child when it happens.
Right, but that's her
we don't know what the promise is, but it's implied that the promise has something to do with dying.
Right, no, but I'm saying her getting her hands cut off and her face chopped off is before she meets the demon.
Is it?
Yes. I'm pretty sure.
But her face works. She's not like...
Right, that's a Bo's...
She doesn't have the puppet body.
Oh, you might be right. Either way, that's mostly irrelevant. Because she still broke the promise. Okay, like... You're okay at the very simplest form. We're going over time because I still have something to say, but fuck you. At the very simplest form, we can understand that Miranjo was like, or the deal is, here's what I'm offering, don't break it.
That's not the setup.
A base form that's like a deal, right?
No!
This is what I'm offering. Don't break it. Yeah.
No! It was a literal, promise, statement.
I believe at one point...
That's what the exchange is.
I think she did swear at one point when they first met, after the demon explained that every time somebody makes a wish, they become more ugly. I'm pretty sure she also swore that she would never make a wish herself. So I'm not sure if that counts whenever she brings people to the demon. So,
that sounds like an accidental promise.
Sure. But, so are you saying that she did not agree to these deals?
I would say both being a child and the way it's being presented to us as like an accidental deal, I don't think she didn't mean to ask anything. She didn't mean to ask anything of the demon. She was just a child saying I promise to be your friend forever, or I promise never to leave you, that sort of thing. She doesn't think she's ever gonna leave the demon.
Okay. But I think the next one is the actual promise, right? When she brings bows to him.
Is it?
I think so. I mean, if not, we're arguing about two separate things.
Because the second time that is referenced as breaking the promise is when Manjiro's dying. She got shot with the arrow, and she calls out to the demon, and the demon's like, breaking your promise again.
And then what would the first part be? Not requesting a wish?
I assume the promise was either she'd never ask the demon for something, or that she'd never leave the demon. Because those are the only things we can see that Manjiro has done to the demon.
I think it's... I think it's... the first one was bringing bows over and asking him to be strong. The second one was heal me and so I don't fucking die. And I think those are the two promises she asked. And then obviously the third, or not the third, but the demon scoops her up and eats her for brunch at the end. And I think that's what it is. And if that's true, I would argue that she willingly broke those promises. Because if that's different, if we're saying the first promise was don't ever leave me, don't ever make a wish, then I think what you're arguing is valid. Okay? So, yeah. I mean, I don't think we can fully answer this, but, I think we can agree on both of those, right?
Yeah, I think if that's the case, then I think it's fair that Manjiro should be saved.
Right. I'll agree to that. But if it's what I stated, the second case, then I would argue that Oken should be saved.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Why do you disagree?
Oh,
or what do you think?
I have no feelings toward this whatsoever. They could have chose neither of them, and I would have been that makes sense.
Rain is like, nah, nobody gets saved.
Save me. That she wishes for something petty.
Rain just wants oh yeah, Kage should have got the wish to bring his mother back.
Facts. Actually, wait a minute.
So I have one.
Why isn't that an option?
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
I think she's been dead too long. She's already on the other side of the water,
True.
We're already over time, but I have one more thing to point out that I think is cool. And so it was the meaning of the majority of the characters' names.
Ooh.
And some of them are just literal Japanese translations, but some of them are a bit more. So I'm kind of just going to run through them really quickly because I think they're interesting. So Bojji, his name likely is a combination of, I don't speak Japanese, so apologies for these, but Bojji, which is a shortened form of Hidetori Bojji, meaning all alone, and Oji, meaning prince. His name essentially means lonely prince, which is sad and sweet. Kage is the most literal translation. It means it's Japanese for shadow, which is cool. Boss, King Boss, Bosu is boss. So that one's pretty obvious, but pretty cool. Well, less
Mr.
cool, but
Boss.
it's obvious. Yeah, Mr. Boss, man. This
that
one's
makes
not...
Bojji the boss, baby.
Oh, it's all coming together. Queen, her name is Hilling, if you pronounce it phonetically or whatever. It sounds like healing, referencing her magical abilities.
Yeah.
Daida, that one's the one I couldn't find about. I'm not really sure. That it might just be a normal name. Domas is taken from Swordmaster. It was like a not an anagram, but it was a stripped down version of Swordmaster. The D from sword and added O and then MAS from master.
Ooh.
And he is, known as the best swordsman in the world, so that's cool. Bebin is taken from Hebi, which is Japanese for snake. And he is like the snake whisperer. He's the master assassin guy in the shadows. Whatever. He had an actual title, but I forget what it is exactly. Apis is the katakana for spear backwards, which is Sapea. And he is he fights with a spear, and they all have titles. I forget what exactly it's like.
I think it's literally like Spear of the King,
Domas
Sword
is
of the
literally
King, Snake of the King. I think it's stuff like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Dorsh, it was Shield of the King. And Dorsh is katakana for shield backwards. Miranjo, this one's really cool. Can be broken into Mira, No, and Jo for Mirror Girl.
Ooh.
I love that.
That one was really cool. Hokura means mole. And so he's sort of named after his beauty mark. Mitsumata is the snake. I didn't really get anything on this one, unfortunately. No meaning there. Well, no meaning that I could find.
Mitsu means 3, and he had 3 heads.
Oh, that one's okay.
Go. I actually think Mata means head, actually.
Oh, well, that's the whole thing. I missed that one. Hard to find. Hard to break down words when you don't speak the language. But Desha, this one is cool. Desha is an anagram for Hades.
Ooh.
And he is king of the underworld. So that's cool. Despa is the same katakana as his brother, Desha, with a diacritic changed to ha from pa. Or from pa. I'm an idiot. From ha to pa. It's right the first time. Sorry. I was confused by my own writing. And both of these contain des, which is katakana for death. And again, they're kings and prince of the underworld. Okun, his name apparently is a pun on O for king and Ken, which is sword, referencing Sword King. And he was one of the best fighters in the underworld. And then unfortunately, this one was really weird, but I wrote it down anyways. The last one I could find was Gigan, which any guesses on what this one is?
Big.
I would imagine, giant
I wish,
or something. But ogre? I don't know.
Prosthesis. So I didn't really get this one. Oh, it might not have any actual meaning, other than the literal Japanese translation. But yeah.
Prosthesis, my man.
That's my man, Prosthesis. Anyways, a couple of them are quite obvious, like Bose and Kage and a few others.
Apparently.
Yeah, when you break it down. And so I was like looking for more, and I just thought it was really cool that there's a lot of details like these go unnoticed, and I like to bring some of these to light, just like how Wolf likes to talk about OPs.
Yeah.
Anyways, over time, but wrapping up with Rain's question of the week. Rain, what do you have for us?
My question this week is, what breed of dog do you think you are?
And for this...
Yeah, do we have enough time?
We were gonna take a personality test, but...
How about we'll do this in effort to save time. We'll just say what we think we are now, and then we will take this little quiz that Rain found for us, and we'll post our results on Instagram and Twitter, and to reveal what we actually are. So we'll do a nice little graphic for all our viewers, and we'll post it. So, Rain, why don't you go first? What breed of dog do you think you are?
I'd imagine I'm more of a husky. That's what I think of.
Ooh.
Kind of like a lone wolf, but also
You think so?
if you provoke or tell me I can't do something, I
No,
will
wolf's
scream.
over here.
But yeah, that's how I think. Unmanageable, but fun sometimes. Not always. Yeah.
Fair enough. I could see it. I think you'd be like a dwarf husky, but yeah.
Probably. Yeah, that would make more sense.
Mixed with like a
Chihuahua.
Now we're
or
just attacking my
something.
personality.
Chusky. Yeah.
Rude.
Wolf, what do you think?
Probably some kind of terrier, or maybe a French bulldog, since I'm always so out of breath.
Oh my god.
But I'm still limber. I'm high energy till I'm not, so any kind of terrier or toy breed.
Yeah. That's fair. I think I could see it. I think a terrier probably. High energy, definitely. If you've ever run or ran with wolf, it's always like or just not even anything athletic. If you get them laughing too much, it's like, oh, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. We've definitely had nights like that at school. And it's just like, I can't breathe.
I need to catch my breath.
Yeah. It's like dancing in McDonald's. I can't breathe. when we're not getting filmed. All right. Excellent choice. I think I got to be something big, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like a Newfoundland or a Saint Bernard or some massive fucking dog.
Yeah.
Personality wise, probably like some sort of lab or
Something
like that.
easygoing.
Pretty
Large
loyal.
corgi.
Yeah, I'd be like a Saint Bernard with a corgi.
Yep.
Like a personality of a corgi and like a lab, and then like the size of like Siberian Husky or like a Great Dane or something like some shit like that. One of the old war dogs. That's me. Let us know what your thoughts are on this. Let us know on Twitter and Instagram, YouTube comments, Google Podcast comments. I don't think Apple has them, but if they do, you could do it. Let us know, and we'll be sure to finish this quiz up and post it for you, and we can see what we actually are.
Yeah.
That one will be a bit more based on personality rather than looks, but combine that with what we just said for looks. Wolf, take this long episode away.
Alrighty, I'm Wolf taking things away. Thanks for watching episode 25 of You're Ridiculous. If you like that, be sure to slack that like button and the subscribe, and be sure to make sure that bell is dark. If you're on any other podcast thing, make sure you hit the plus, hit the bell, or anything else. Leave a review, change your review to respond to our comments. Or you can catch up with all of us on Instagram at ridiculous_cast, as well as Twitter. You can check out Lucas at 7AngryWasps with an E. You can check me out at Rainbow Does without the W. You can't find Rainy anywhere at the moment, but she'll probably be on the cast page.
Always.
Thank you, and say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Well, if you're most interested in Rainy, the best place probably is on the Instagram page, because she runs that for the most part.
And even better,
that's hers.
Just don't. That's fair too.
Let her know your thoughts on Ranking of Kings.
That's right.
Yep.
Let her know how bad she is. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.